I want to bring in Pennsylvania Congressman and member of the Committee on Foreign Affairs, Scott Perry. Congressman, thanks for stopping in.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right, top congressional leaders just left the White House a moment ago for a briefing in the Situation Room on all of this. The president has said he imagines someone made a mistake in shooting down that drone, saying it was someone just being, quote, loose and stupid. If the president's right on that, what should the response be to an aggressive Iran being loose and stupid?
Well, we understand that Iran doesn't maybe have the command and control the United States has. In my own experience, having served in the military and actually flown on the Iranian border, you have to be very, very careful because they don't respect boundaries like the rest of us do. But I'm sure that the Global Hawk was well outside of Iranian airspace. It's got a service ceiling of about 60,000 feet, so you can see a long way when you're that high. There's no reason for the United States to have to fly over Iran, so I suspect it was shot down, whether unintentionally or intentionally. But the bigger issue is this, Patrick, is first, number one, United States of America does not want war, neither does this president. But what we need to do is have Iran change its very malign activities towards the United States in particular, and that's what we're trying to get to here. And they have shown an increasing bellicose nature towards the United States, including the United States interest, including rocketing our facilities or United States facilities, bombing tankers, and of course 3 attempted drone shoot downs in the last week and a half or so. And this is the United States responding to Iran's malevolent behavior. Iran simply has to change its course and quit sowing discord, death, and destruction in the region into United States personnel and civilians and citizens as well.
Well, you mentioned, Congressman, the Global Hawk flying potentially at 60,000 feet, having that capability. From a military standpoint, does this incident worry you with regards to Iran's military capabilities, specifically in surface-to-air missile strikes?
Well, it does concern us, and we know that they bought the S-300 surface-to-air missile system from Russia not too long ago, and people might say, well, why do we care whether Russia sends and sells these kind of weapon systems to Syria, Iran, or anybody else? These are the reasons why. It affects the things that we do, and what we want to do is keep that sea lane open for the free flow of imports and exports through the Persian Gulf, because they affect us, and very particularly right at the gas pump, where all of us go to work every day. Most of us drive cars, and that increases our cost of living. And so we can't have Iran threatening their neighbors and threatening world shipping. And if they have assets like that working with adversaries of the United States, it only increases their capability to harm the United States interest. And particularly, we're happy that it was unmanned and that no lives were lost. But this is still $130 million of taxpayer money that has fallen into the Persian Gulf because they shot the thing down, because they have these capabilities provided by America's adversaries.
Well, one more question, Congressman. An unmanned drone shot out of the sky, the explosive mine set above the water line on an oil tanker, possibly as to not sink that tanker, seen in those videos or seen in those photos. There's been no loss of life in these provocations, thankfully, so far. But what does this tell you about Iran's actions now and possibly their actions in the near future?
Iran is suffering under the crippling sanctions regime. We should have just kept going under the last administration, but we let them get their head above water. They're now suffering under that. It is imperiling them. So that what they're trying to do, they're escalating the situation in hopes of either getting us to release and minimize the sanctions or to put themselves in a better bargaining position. And I think as long as they're allowed to escalate without consequence, they will continue to escalate. I suspect there will be consequences to their actions, whether their actions were advertent or inadvertent, and they have to consider that. They are playing a very dangerous game with this administration. Other administrations allowed them to be provocative without consequence. This administration and this president will not.
Okay, after the briefing at the White House, Mitch McConnell, Senate Majority Leader, said Trump administration officials are considering measured responses. So we'll have to keep our eye on that. Pennsylvania Congressman Scott Perry, we appreciate your time as always.
Well, thank you very much.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.